Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Coming Into Bloom.
Hey,
What is today?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
25th.
We record on Wednesdays. This will post on Monday. Happy Monday. How about that?
happy Monday. Woohoo.
So recently on our social media pages, we posted what were our followers binge watching on, well, I don't guess we specified, but just binge watching, period. And we're going to pick a winner today to get, well, we're going to pick three winners to get a strawberry.
Strawberry gift card.
A Starbucks gift card. But I did want to share some of the responses and get whatever it is that you're watching. So I'm going to start with their responses first. So we've got White Lotus. Have you seen that?
I haven't. Nope.
I have. It's about a resort and it's raunchy. So
Oh.
I think it's on HBO, if that tells you
okay.
anything. Little House on the Prairie.
Seen that?
That's a classic.
Watched it
I've
live.
never seen it.
What?
I've never seen Little House on the Prairie.
Michael Landon is looking down from heaven judging you right now.
Good. I don't know who that is. So.
That's hilarious. Brent is with us today. I forget, if you're listening, you can't see that he's here, but it is about to start storming down here in South Georgia. So he is inside. Okay, so Love is Blind. I've seen all of that. New Girl.
One of my favorites. Love New
Love
Girl.
that show. Ginny and Georgia. Now, this one was like across the board. Lots of people are watching this show. Vampire Diaries, Seinfeld, Grey's Anatomy, and then let's see what Instagram is saying. Jenny,
All I hear is Brent going,
stop. Instant Dream Home, never seen that. Oh, New Amsterdam. I saw some previews for this one and I haven't seen it, but it looks like it would be good. I just started Emily in Paris. Somebody wrote that.
So good.
Yeah,
So good.
I'm on episode 4 so far, season 1. Yellowstone, Jenny and Georgia, Call the Midwife. Never seen that one. The Sinner. Have you ever seen The Sinner on
I
Netflix?
have,
The
yeah.
Downton Abbey.
Did you see the one with Jessica Biel or the other season?
Both. I've seen both seasons.
I haven't seen the season without her. Downton Abbey, definitely love that one. Everybody Loves Raymond, Law and Order, SVU,
Classic.
Yellowstone, Kaleidoscope. Now, if you have not heard about this, Kaleidoscope is this new show that Netflix has put out. I have not seen it yet, but I definitely want to try it. So it's by color. You choose your color, and then that determines like how you watch the show. So I'm very interested in getting that one started.
Sounds gimmicky.
What If? Never heard of that one. The Office, that's classic. Ginny and Georgia. Oh, Jack Ryan, that one was really good. Grey's Anatomy, White Lotus, Ginny and Georgia. Lots of Ginny and Georgia.
Lots. It's such a good show, though.
So what are you currently binge watching?
I just finished Ginny and Georgia like 2 days ago. And then now we're watching Stranger Things because I've seen all of them, but Tristan hasn't. So he wants to see them.
Yeah, Brent really likes that show. We are together watching
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek, which
Always.
I'm always watching Schitt's Creek. But what's the other one? Oh, That 90s Show.
Oh, yeah, that just came out.
Yeah.
Yes, we just started it because we both watched That 70s Show when it came out. And so I asked him, I was like, are you interested in watching That 90s Show? Because it's, the parents. It's the same cast or whatever. And so we've watched one episode so far. So we're watching that together. But then I have been watching, and I started it a couple days ago. It's called Web of Death.
I've never heard of that one.
It's a true crime. And it's on, oh gosh, I think it's Hulu. And so each episode is like a different story. So it's not like you have to watch it in order or anything. But the first episode is about a guy from Lakeland, Florida.
Whoa.
Is that not crazy?
That is crazy.
Very close to home. He won the lottery, $30 million, and died. And so the first episode is about, and they uncover like they're so far every episode it's solved by the end of the
Mm,
episode, which I really like. They don't like leave you hanging or anything.
mhm.
But it's been wow, really good. It's really good.
That's where our India Atlantic friends are from, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes, Lakeland, Florida, and it's right beside Disney.
Mm.
It's like what, 4 hours from here?
I mean,
2
ask
hours?
her to Duval.
Duval. I'm on the other side of the state, okay?
Whatever.
But yes, we do have some friends that own Indie Atlantic Films, and that is where they are. It's also the headquarters of Publix.
Ah.
So yeah, that first episode, I was just like knocked off my feet from the beginning because I was like, Lakeland, Florida. I need to ask them at Indie Atlantic if
If
they,
they've heard of it.
yes, because it was a huge, huge story down there.
No, you know this ain't
Apparently,
like Lakeland, Georgia, with population 47. It's like,
it
my-
was
At first-
national news.
well, they may not have known them.
At first, I thought you were saying Lakeland, Georgia, and I was like, no way.
There ain't nobody from Lakeland, Georgia won $1 million. There may have been some that earned it, but they didn't win nothing.
But this story could have
Mhm.
definitely happened in Lakeland, Georgia.
Ooh.
My friends,
It actually
Okay.
sounds like something that would have happened in Lakeland, Georgia.
shut your face. That's my people.
Anyways, so the first thing we're going to get into on the podcast today is what is up with the price of eggs.
What's up? Is there up?
So, yes, the price of eggs, if you have been living in a cave, is up twice the price that it was a year ago. The average cost right now for eggs is $4.25. And it's been such a big like topic. I was like, I want to find out what's going on. So I researched a whole bunch of like reasons and like different reasons, different people's opinions and stuff like that. And then I went to an egg farm, like a chicken farm, to see what their
Oh.
blog said about it. And so this is what I have found out so far. So inflation is definitely playing a part. It's actually the main reason for the price of eggs because there's a huge cost to the farmer as far as feed and labor and diesel, stuff like that. But so that is the main reason from what I have gathered. But also there's a avian flu, I hope I'm saying that
Yeah.
correctly, that has decimated chicken farmers, and it has caused over 50 million chickens to be infected with this
So
flu.
Rachel, she works or she knows the people who work at this place called Noah's Ark, where she's from.
Okay.
It's like an animal sanctuary, and avian flu broke out there, and I think they had to euthanize all of their birds, like every bird that they have, literally, like their chickens and the peacocks and everything. So I know that that's a big issue for sure.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if my
gosh.
feed bill and my gas bill went up 147% in 6 months, I'd have avian flu too.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah,
No way.
so the chicken, I mean, the cost of raising these chickens to get these eggs are, I mean, it's gone up so much. Like they have the flu, and so once the chicken gets the flu, it spreads rapidly, and the chances of them dying are like 90%. So, I mean, obviously that's a factor, but the flu's going to go away. What's not going to go away is the cost to the farmer, the
Yeah.
feed,
Mhm.
That's not
the
going.
diesel. And I don't think eggs is going to be the only thing that's going to be through the
No.
roof. It's going to be milk because the cost to keep a cow,
Well,
Um,
no consumer pays the actual price they should be paying for their food. I don't like. Everybody wants to talk about government subsidized agriculture, but without that, you either A, don't have milk on the shelf, or B, you're going to pay $10 a gallon for milk.
Right.
It costs more money to produce milk than you actually pay for it at the grocery store.
right.
And that's not, I mean, everybody who is in a retail or a middleman position in the agricultural chain, they're going to make their 30 or 40% profit margin. and the farmer or the one producing the actual product, they don't get to determine what they make. You can
Right.
tell people what you want to get paid, but they're
Mhm.
going to tell you what. But no one. When you're selling a perishable product, you have very little say so in what you get to charge. And eggs
Right.
are a perishable product, and so I mean the cost of those eggs it's not going to go back down,
Right.
and there's no reason for it to. It's you're paying a realized cost that should have been charged 3 years ago for that.
But why is it just now being
Because it's just now
charged?
caught up. I mean, like our costs have been going up 20 and 30% every year for
Right.
5-6 years. You know that. I mean, you've seen
Right.
our books. And then all of a sudden you have this, on top of all of those annual increases in our cost, you see 100% just increase overnight almost.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can call it 8% inflation all day long, but I do real world math, not make believe government math. And, I know that when I paid $1.87 for fuel a year and a half ago,
Right.
$5 is that. Hey, call my math a little rusty from high school, but that's a little more than 100%, morons.
Yeah.
So you are literally paying to keep these guys in business because they've taken losses year after year after year, and the government's had to subsidize them. Well, the money printer's been shut off. The subsidizing money from the government has dwindled down. So now you either have to pay full price for your food that you eat, that you actually need to exist,
Right.
or you don't eat because they're going to go out of business. And that's just fact.
Well, yeah, but also, I mean, the cost
Yeah.
to the farmer is going
Yeah.
up because the cost of feed and the cost of fuel
Exactly.
and like,
Yeah.
the vaccines, I'm sure that the chickens have to have. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
They have to have vaccines. Antibiotics.
Well, it's antibiotics and
Yeah.
anything
Medicine.
anything that's confined in a space that makes it basically cost effective to produce. I mean, at some point they're going to need some type of veterinary treatment. I mean, it'd be like,
Right.
the same
And-
people screaming, don't put antibiotics in my chicken. They're the same people that are like, go get your kid vaccinated. I mean, it's the same thing. Like you have to keep animals healthy or they're just going to die.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, I mean, that
well,
costs-
and it's the farmer's livelihood too. So, I mean, he's got to do what he's
Yeah.
got to do to keep the chickens alive. And then I'm sure the vet cost, their cost has gone up. So that's passed down to the
Yeah.
farmer as well. So, I mean, there are a lot of factors as to why the egg price is up, and inflation is it. And also, like I said, cost to the farmer. But, I thought it was interesting that this flu thing had come about because I did not know this. I don't watch the news. So I did not know that avian flu had reached the chickens and that was causing all the
it
problems
happens
here.
every year. Every year, to some extent, the poultry industry has avian flu that breaks out somewhere in the country. And
But this year is just worse.
well, you'll see a little bit of a price jump. It may not be worse than any year in the past. It may be the exact same amount of cases and the same amount of chicken houses having to be euthanized. But when you combine that with the fact that these guys are saying, hey, if you don't pay us the right amount for this, we're just shutting down, which is what a lot of farmers I know are doing right
Yeah,
now. There
yeah.
are acres and acres of trees not going to be tended next year
Yes.
because there's no profit in it. And, the thing is,
Because the cost
because the
to
cost.
you has gone up.
Yep.
And it's not going to be worth it because people aren't going to pay $15 for an orange.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
No.
and that's the same thing in the chicken industry. Like these guys cannot continuously year after year produce food for people to eat and not be paid to do it and be
Right.
expected to do it at a loss. I mean, you can't call me a hero and expect me to starve. Everybody's like, oh, God made farmers. That's great. I mean, thank you for thanking me, but I still got to eat, man. I've got to eat too.
yeah.
My kids need clothes too. So, at the end of the day, these chicken guys are having the same issue, is that your cost has increased year after year after year. The price has stayed steady, which is great. Consumers enjoy it, but eventually the bills have to be paid.
Yeah.
And that's where you're at. And it's nice to buy a dozen eggs for $2, but I mean, really, that's not even
So-
a reasonable I don't. I've wondered why we weren't paying $5 for a dozen eggs. Like I know it costs that much.
So would you say that avian flu is the main reason, or
No,
do you think it's the cost to the farmer,
no, it's
or
cost to the
or it's
farmer.
agriculture catching up with the cost
Yeah,
of goods?
it's the cost of goods have gone up exponentially for 2 years, ever since COVID, really. And the price of food has stayed pretty steady until this year. So now the cost is catching the price that the consumer pays is catching up to what the farmer needs to make to stay open. And what'll happen is, I mean, yeah, avian flu breaks out, and maybe some of these chicken houses could fight it and win, but you can't. It's cheaper to kill them than it is to keep them alive. And if you can't afford to do that and have a home to live in at the end of the year, then you shut it down.
Well, yeah, it's just like with the citrus trees, it's cheaper to just cut them down than it is to replant it, really.
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
and it's the same thing with a chicken house, like, or with eggs. I mean, if you're gonna spend, I don't know how much it costs to keep a chicken alive with avian flu, but let's say you're fighting an outbreak or preventing an outbreak, and let's say that costs $10,000 per chicken house, okay? And you're losing $5,000 a year producing eggs, and so I'm supposed to magically come up with 10 grand so I can keep farming? Like,
right.
I'm not paying to work 7 days a week. That's stupid.
I mean, nobody's going to keep
That's
a business open that's not making any money.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Farming is a business, and there's a part of you that does it because you love it. But I mean, I love looking through a telescope at stars too, but I can't make money doing it. So yeah,
It's a telescope.
exactly, it's a telescope. I mean, it's fun. Like, this is a farm. It's nice, it's beautiful, it's pretty. But if you can't make money, how do you go get a job elsewhere? And that's the reason your price is going up. Eggs is just one of the things that's gone up.
See, I think today was a great day for him to come on because I was like, we're talking about the price of eggs. So I can tell you what I like researched and what I found, and then you can tell us like what the actual farmer is experiencing.
I'm going to let it out. That's been one of my
I'm going to let it out.
Years. I am tired. God, I mean, but you hear it from people who don't
farm.
Well, they don't farm, and they're not around farmers enough to really know what happens. And and two, you have a lot of these I don't even know what to call them, but like they're so new to agriculture. Like, and when I say new to agriculture, I mean under 20 years. Like it's the people who, like, they're here and they're going to make a stand and wave their flags, and oh, we're farmers, we're meant to be dirty and wear flannel. Like, dude, you got to eat, man. Your kids have to have a house. It doesn't have to be a big fancy one. It doesn't have to be a huge fancy farm, but there has to be a positive number at the end of the year, or it is not a feasible life.
The other thing, though, that's crazy is people that make decisions on the price of goods and the price of fertilizers and the price of medicine for your animals and chemicals and all those things have never set foot on a farm.
True.
Yeah.
And they're telling the farmer what they're going to get paid and then how much it's going to cost them to make that product. And to me, like, that is just like ridiculous that you have people that don't even know what they're talking about determining the prices of these things.
It's whoever looks good on camera. That's who we listen to in America. They sound eloquent when they speak, and they use words I like.
Well, anyways, so that is
If you can't see my face, I am laughing through this. It may sound cynical, but I am smiling and giggling a little bit.
So that is our what's up with the price of eggs, because it's just such a hot topic. I felt like it was definitely perfect for this particular podcast because we are in the farming world and definitely know firsthand how it affects the farmer. But then also, like, when you go off and research these things, like, you get a completely different answer, as you can see, than what's really kind of like going on behind the scenes. So
yeah, exactly. I would have the avian flu too. I would catch it. I would take a day off.
Don't believe everything you read in here, I guess.
I mean, I'm sure they are. I'm sure there's tons of guys out there suffering from that thing. But I'm telling you right now, I'd be like, oh, I got it too. I'd torch that thing and walk away. There ain't no way. I'm tired of losing money.
So a couple, would you say, days or weeks ago, we posted about the Q&A, Ask Us Anything. Was that a week?
It I was last week, but yeah.
Okay. So last week we posted like a Q&A thing, ask us anything, and we got about 20 questions submitted, which is a lot. And
Yep.
we have not answered any of them, so we were waiting to pull some for the podcast. And so I've written down some of the ones that we got so we could kind of answer those. And then if we don't get to them all, then we'll just do like a part 2 on our next episode. So the first one is, what flower do you not grow that is most asked about at the U pick? I'll let you
I
answer this.
think that the answer is the dahlias, because a lot of people think that the zinnias are dahlias.
Yes.
And so they'll come and say, like, I love your dahlias out there. I'm like, those are zinnias. We don't grow those. So I think that's my answer.
Yeah, I would agree with that. A lot of people, that's what you see trending. So I
Mhm.
think that's why a lot of people like them and want them or whatever. But for what, a week, I've been sending you all the horror stories from these farmers
Yes.
that the dahlias are just, I mean, it will put you on your butt like really, really quick if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, yes, the payoff is great, but you got to get there first.
The plant grows great, but the bloom just doesn't
Yeah,
survive.
and like for us
Yeah.
down here in this heat, like having to put organza bags over every single bloom is just not something I want to do. Like,
You would have to be solely a dahlia farmer for it to even make sense. Like, there's
I
no
would
way you
think,
could
or
have.
you would have to like, I don't know, maybe have like florists that you sell to for like, because they are really good event flowers.
Mhm.
I don't think they would work very well in a grocery store bouquet. And when I say work well, I mean price wise. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
people would buy it, but you would have so much money invested in that dahlia flower. Like you would have to charge way more than you normally would. So the only thing I can think of, only like business I could think of where it would be good would be if you have like florists or event designers, something like that that want those unique flowers
Mhm.
that you could afford to pass that cost over to. And like for a U pick, I just don't, nobody's going to pay the price to pick a dahlia. You know what I mean? So that is definitely not in our lineup at the U pick. I don't foresee it ever being. Every time I talk about them, I find some flower farmer on my Instagram page that I'm just like, my heart goes out to because they're like in tears 9 times out of 10 because all this money has been spent and either the tuber has rotted or the bugs have gotten to the blooms. And we have grown dahlias from seeds, which we talked about on the last episode, and it creates a tuber underneath. In that case, I mean, maybe if we did some seeds and we just got our own tubers
I think it would be good to grow them like a novelty.
He really wants to grow them.
And here's why. Because even when the flowers deformed, because they've been bitten by insects, I mean, we have chili thrips here and they'll eat a dahlia. They'll melt it into nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great novelty thing to have a nice little row of them. I mean, they have a weird looking flower, but at a U pick, people don't, they care, but they don't particularly care. It's just it's
the experience.
It's basically an aesthetic. They're a real pretty little bushy flower. They grow nice and tall, and even if the flower is a little odd shaped at a U pick, it's something for people to look at and take pictures in the background. That's really the only feasible way for us to grow it and be profitable.
Maybe like a row of them,
just have a row for people to look at. It's not like they're going to be picking tons of flowers off of them because you'd have to spray the mess out of them, and we just don't do that.
So they won't be at the U pick this year. But that is, I would say, one of the most asked about flowers, and you should grow them. And I don't want to is the answer.
Boss lady makes the decision.
Next question is spell your name with colors. Oh, Caitlin, I'll let you go first because you got a long name.
That's very hard. Okay, so I'm assuming like the first letter of a color would be like the letters of my name.
Yes. So like C, I think is what it means. Like C for
crimson.
There you go.
Okay. Crimson. A. Why can I not think of any colors ever?
Apricot.
Oh, that is a pretty color.
I.
Indigo.
No. Rainbow.
T. Turtle shell green.
Teal.
There we go. L. Lime green.
Okay, okay.
Why?
Oh, this is easy. Come on.
Yellow?
Come on, Gen Z. There you go.
That one was easy. I was like, nothing starts with a Y ever, but of course yellow does. Okay. N. Why do I have the longest name in the whole world?
I'm trying to think of neutral.
Neutral. All right, we gotta have another N.
I know.
Naval.
Naval?
Naval blue.
Naval blue.
Navy blue.
Navy
Oh,
blue.
navy blue. Okay,
Duh.
okay.
Okay. And E. Electric blue.
Oh gosh. Okay, so mine would be lavender.
Oh, that's good.
I guess I'll have to say indigo for the eye. Um, gosh, this is
Could've
hard.
Bob Ross that eye, but you didn't, did you?
What was
Indian yellow?
Indian yellow? S. What would S be?
I bet someone in their car right now is
Fire?
like yelling like
Is that a color?
sapphire.
It's a stone.
Maybe it's got a color.
We'll go with it.
We're gonna have to go with sapphire.
Somebody's screaming at the thing.
I know. And then A could be
This
gosh,
one
this
is
is hard. Yeah, I'll just say apple red.
Apple red. I want to know who sent this question in because I just need to talk.
I didn't write down these usernames, but I should have. Shouted them out. Do you want to spell yours?
No.
Blue.
Wow. Yours is easy. Brown, red.
Brown, blue, red, E.
I said electric blue for E.
Electric blue, neutral, and teal.
Perfect.
Moving on.
He's so offended.
You can see so we're on YouTube. The podcast is on YouTube, so you can see Brent's reactions to me.
That's hilarious.
Okay, if 2020 was a movie, what would you call it?
Shelved.
That was such a quick answer.
I mean, The Walking Dead is a TV show, but I would say 2020 could definitely be Walking Dead the movie. Because everything was abandoned, like well, not really abandoned, but we were all like nobody was in town, like it was just essential people were out working. So I would say Walking Dead the movie.
Would you say Walking Dead the movie, or would you say Idiocracy the movie?
Maybe that too.
Maybe
2020 was a fever dream. Like, oh my gosh, that was such a bad year. It was my freshman year of college, and I had to move home.
And I remember something happened in y'all's dorms. Like y'all weren't supposed, like you and Tristan, y'all weren't supposed to like be visiting each other or something.
By the end of 2020, they had like when we were back on campus, they would not allow boys in girls' dorms and girls in boys' dorms. So they would stand outside your door and listen in to see if they heard boy and girl voices, and they would bust you and you'd get fined.
No.
They'd kick them out. Yeah.
So you could call it, gosh, what would be your movie for that? The Year of No Return? I don't know.
I don't know, but it was bad. Whatever.
Yeah, it was. That was terrible. And
Tristan would call it Porky's. That was an old movie from the 70s, a little college teen flick.
Oh.
All the boys were trying to get into the girl dorms.
You know what? I'm going to call it Stranger Things.
There you go. If 2020 was a movie, though, I wouldn't watch it. I don't think I'm about to do that.
Oh, dude, I can get to work quick.
The Quarantine.
I could ride it down the road.
Quarantine is actually, that sounds like something that would be interesting to watch, though. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay, so, and I guess, let's see how we are.
Oh, I want to do the next question.
Okay, go.
Are you aware that there are people in your life who probably hate you, but laugh with you anyways? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%. And the fact that we're on social media.
I look in the mirror every morning and see myself.
No.
Okay, everybody does.
Yeah, I hate myself a lot.
That was the joke.
It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. I
Yeah,
was
there
laughing.
are people who probably watch our social media that can't. This is the thing. Why do you watch it if you don't like something? Like I see a lot of like Instagram influencers on Instagram all the time saying like, or they'll be posting all these mean comments and stuff that they get, and I'm like, why even watch
Those
this
people aren't
person?
watching. Like they're just those people are just doing that because that's what they do. Like they do
Yeah.
that.
But I just don't get that. Like,
I don't
who
get it
wakes
either.
up in the morning and decides, like, I'm going to go make as many lives miserable as I can, or I'm going to make the most negative comments.
Most people don't
like,
have half as many haters as you think you do.
Well, they say
Like,
that. No,
yeah.
they say that. They'll say, 90% of my followers are supportive and stuff like that. But then there's that little 10% that I'm just like, why? Why waste your time?
Because they like live in their mom's basement and they don't have any.
It also has to go with like our MailChimp, our email newsletter. Like we can see who unsubscribes. So we know who's out there hating.
Look, in their defense, in those people's defense, like I unsubscribe from a lot of companies' emails that I still buy stuff from. So it's like it's
But
just
our
like,
newsletter is really good.
well, I know that, but I mean, like that might be a little biased.
Don't come to their defense. They're meanies, okay?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm about that paper, not about that email.
First
Were
of all,
you a bully in school? This is
What?
giving bully
he was
vibes.
probably bullied.
Face. I was kind of there. I just kind of cruised through quietly, got in and out.
Okay.
Shut your face.
Anyways, yes, we are very aware that that there are people in our life who hate us secretly but laugh with us always. I mean, that can even be people that you think are some of your closest friends that are laughing with you, and then secret. Okay, we'll do this last one and then we'll move on
Okay.
from this, and we'll do the rest of these like on our next episode. So this says, how old will you be in 8 years? How old will you be?
30.
You'll be 30? Oh my
So
gosh.
weird.
Let's see. Well, I guess I'm not 38 yet, so
You'll be 45.
I'll be 45. Wait, Dean will be graduated, and Bentley will be a senior.
Wow. And it's
In
going to get
8
here
years.
before you know it.
I
That's what
know.
they say, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like yesterday Dean was born, so the fact that he has 6 years of school left, first of all, I'm super excited because I'm so ready for him to be done so I can move on with life. But in 8 years, I will have my second child about to graduate, and I'll be starting a whole new phase of life called All About Me.
Empty nesting.
Empty nesting.
She's going to be miserable.
No, I'm
And
not.
if she's miserable, then I'm miserable.
I'm not going to be miserable.
What are we going to be doing then?
I'm going to be buying me a mountain home and living there full time.
With what?
The proceeds from the sale of this farm.
Oh, okay. As long as I don't have to work after that.
How old will you be in 8 years?
36.
70 what?
Shut your mouth. I'll be 50.
I really believed you for a second, too. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Wait, you'll be like 50?
50.
So you'll be 40 on the dot and he'll be 50.
No, he'll be
30.
30.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
so you'll be 30, he'll be 50. So y'all will both be celebrating milestones in 8 years.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
I did the math. I was deployed when Caitlin was born.
Oh, where were you deployed to? Like
in the
where?
Mediterranean.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I was floating around the ocean.
That's crazy.
Going
I was
over
floating
Cook
around the
Islands.
room.
Enjoying my life.
Okay, anyways, our next segment is Generation Gap, which I'm a millennial, Caitlin is Gen Z. And so I Googled the difference between millennials and Gen Z just to see like what came up to get us some conversations flowing. Brent is like, I don't even know what generation that is.
Gen X?
Old is what it is. So I love having him on the podcast because I'm not the oldest one. Okay, so the first thing that I found that I thought was interesting is millennials wear a lot of brands, and they're very committed and loyal to brands, whereas Gen Z doesn't really care about brands and they constantly want brands to innovate what they're doing. So would you say that's fair for Gen Z?
I think when we were younger, we definitely liked the brands like Justice, wearing them to school and stuff, Nike. But yeah, now people don't care other than like Lululemon
I saw
and
that Bama Rush
Right.
mess.
Stanley.
Yeah,
What?
that's true.
I saw that Bama Rush stuff she was watching.
Oh yeah.
Today I
Oh, but I don't know if this is
purses and earrings. Sorry.
this is not an outfit of the day, okay?
Anyways, I would not say those girls are average. So
I think that I don't know if this is true for millennials, but Gen Z is like all about thrifting. So it doesn't really matter the brand. It's just like a good quality thrift find.
yes, that's what it was saying too, that Gen Z doesn't really care about brands. And the brands that they do care about, they're wanting them to constantly come out with something new, like innovative or whatever. I would say that is true for millennials. When I was in high school, like we had to have, the Tommy Hilfiger logo on our stuff, or Calvin Klein. And then once we find something we like, I feel like millennials definitely tend to keep that, like being brand loyal or whatever. We're definitely committed to like Target. Like the Target brand clothes. Like I feel like a lot of millennials, like you find something you like there, like just say like a pair of socks. Cat and Jack. Do you know what Cat and Jack is?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the kids line at Target. And so I would say the like moms my age are committed to Cat and Jack. Like when your kids need clothes, you're going to go to Cat and Jack first and see if they have the size, and if not, then you'll branch out. But I would say that's very on brand for millennials to be committed to their brands. The other thing that came up on Google was, it says millennials were born in a technological world and considered more progressive, creative thinking. Gen Z grew up with a social media world, which causes them to sometimes be tech addicted and sometimes antisocial, which I never thought about, the like flip side to having technology your whole life. But I feel like I'm kind of antisocial.
Yeah, don't call her, y'all. Do not call her.
Oh my gosh, don't do that. Like that gets up under my skin. I could talk all day long about phone calls, but we'll leave that.
You already did that.
We did. We had an episode about it.
I listened to your podcast.
I don't remember that. But yeah, I don't like phone calls. I don't do phone calls. And I can promise you 99.9% of the time you can send it in a text. It does not need to be a phone call. And also, I'm terrible. If people call me and I'm like see the missed call, I'm not calling you back. I will text you, but I'm not calling you back. Like, are you kidding me? Why would I put myself in that position?
She is antisocial, y'all.
I feel like I'm kind of Gen Z because I'm very antisocial, I would say.
You're not.
Would you say that's
Caitlin could have been your accident.
We've already talked about that.
Okay.
Would you say that is the case with Gen Z? Like, do you seem to be tech addicted and antisocial because of technology? Because you can do it all on your phone?
I don't see that in me. Like, I'm definitely tech addicted because I do it for work, but I'm not antisocial because of it, but I do see that being a thing. Like, even influencers that are out there, like, have millions of followers, they cannot be on a phone call for a brand deal. Like, that makes them nervous. And when they're not like in control of like their situation or their phone or their video. So yeah,
you would say that technology gives you a false sense of security and control. Kind of like
because you think that these people are like super outgoing, and like when you meet them, they're going to be, very social and extroverted, but they're actually not. They just put on a front for social media.
Wow, that is an interesting perspective. Wow, because we grew up like we had dial up, internet, but we still had internet. The millennials did. And then Gen Z, I mean, y'all just grew up with social media. Like that didn't become a thing till I had already graduated high school. And Facebook was the first thing out. And it was only for people who were in college at the time. So if you weren't at like a university, you couldn't get on Facebook. And then it like branched out and became what it is today. But y'all grew up with it already established and what it is today. So that's crazy.
I apologize, Tom. Everybody just leaves you out like you weren't
Do
their
you
first
know who
friend.
Tom is?
I only do because Brent has mentioned him before, but I didn't know before that.
The MySpace. So when you got on MySpace, he was your first and only friend.
He's such a good guy. He was the CEO. He was like just this nice guy. I mean,
Everybody that's
Everybody cracks on
listening
him.
that's a millennial definitely knows who Tom is, and not Tom the cat.
and he didn't make
Yeah,
his
I'm thinking of
picture all
Tom the cat.
fancy. Like, he just in his little t-shirt with his computer, like, what's up?
Yeah, he had on like a white tee, and he was
Yeah.
like turned to the side, and
He
he's
wasn't
like
like,
on
he
his
wasn't like old
computer.
Zuckerberg. Like, look at me learning jujitsu.
Okay, so the next segment is Name 5, and this is a game, a card game that I had in my already got it.
Oh.
I brought the cards in and then typed out the thing because I was scared I was going to forget the cards. Anyways, Name 5 is like a card game that you can purchase. I had it in my car, and the way it works is you get a category and then you have to name 5 things within that category. And I thought it would be fun to do on the podcast, so this is something that we do on every episode. This particular Name 5 is category is first names starting with the letter W.
So I'm going to start off because this is like one of Tristan's favorite names, and he like wants to name his son this, and that would be Willard.
Willard.
But I hate it. It makes me
Why does
cringe.
he want to name his child that?
I think maybe that's his grandpa or great grandpa's first
That's-
name or something.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Willard Scott. He was the meteorologist for the Today Show for decades.
Shout out to Willard
this-
Scott.
This weather report is brought to you by Smuckers.
Willard Scott. Well, Brent's stepmom's name is Wylane, and
Yeah.
my mom's name is Wanda.
Oh yeah.
So that's 2 W's right there.
William.
William is 4. Oh, and then you also have 2 nephews.
Nah,
Well, yeah, we won't say their name.
don't be-
Oh, okay.
private citizens.
He said.
Trying to think of other.
What about Walter?
Walter? Was he the guy in Up? Was that his name? The old
Maybe. I don't remember. I haven't seen that.
Walter was
movie.
one of the guys that was in Grumpy Old Men. Did you ever see that movie, Caitlin? Homework is
No.
hilarious. We'll love it. That is an old throwback from an old 80s movie, and I bet you would like it. Because it's
No, I don't think you
hilarious.
would.
They sword fight with fishing poles over a woman.
I mean,
That's hilarious.
it's funny, but I don't think it would be relevant today.
Old men acting stupid is relevant for every age because there are always old men acting stupid.
Okay, Gen X, let's move on.
So the last thing is our quote.
Sigh.
The last thing is our quote of the week, and it was my turn finally. I feel like I haven't done it in a while, but it is nothing is impossible. Get your mind right. So the reasoning behind that was everything starts right up here in your mind, and if you have it made up in your mind that you can't do it, then obviously you're not going to be able to.
Still can't use the force. I've been trying.
Eat the Force?
Star
Yeah,
Wars.
since I was a kid, every man tries it. Don't let them lie. Even the ones that don't claim they like Star Wars, they've all reached out and like, can I just get that drink in my hand without getting up? It doesn't work.
Well, nothing's impossible if you get your mind right. So get it right and you can have
I
it.
That's
I
right,
believe
that's
that now
right.
because I've been trying for years and it's not working.
So, how is class going? Everything's good?
Yeah,
in
it's
class?
good. I got lucky. Today my 9 a.m. class was canceled, so that's why we could record this a little bit earlier today. And
Yeah.
then next week, one of my professors is going to be at a conference the whole week, so my entire week of class and lab is canceled.
Oh my
So-
gosh. Wow. So how many weeks do you have left? And you're like completely done.
I think
You get a refund on the
13
power?
or 12. Yeah, one thing that's new this week, I applied for grad school. Woo!
Oh, nice. Do you want to tell us where?
No, because what if I don't get
Okay.
in?
So, anyways, but the point is you've applied for it, and so if you get into one of those, you will be going to grad school, right?
Yes, I applied to
Or marketing.
two, but I'm thinking about applying to one more. But I feel like two, I just want to stop with because I don't want to like overextend. And I don't know. Those are like my two main schools I want to go to in the fall. And then if it doesn't happen, like I'll go to like start in the spring for trying for different schools. So,
Oh, wow. Well, for us this week, Dean starts archery tomorrow night.
oh, no way. That's
So
so cool.
yeah, so he's going to be on the 4-H archery team in Lowndes County,
Yay.
and he got a bow for Christmas, and he's been practicing a little bit, and so yeah, he will start that and do that until probably the end of school, and then Brantley is trying out on Sunday for a play, so
Yay. Good
in
luck.
town in Valdosta. So I'll have to
Aw.
let y'all know like how that goes or whatever. But that's what we have for the week. And then hopefully this rain is not going to do too much damage to anything. Um,
True.
well, wind, yeah, the wind, not the rain.
Hmm.
We got all of your ranunculus for your wedding
Yay.
in trays. So they're pre-sprouting, and then hopefully we'll get enough that we can put them all in the greenhouse. But we're trying to get the greenhouse filled up for the wedding. So, but we have
Good.
mint in there right now. We have some ranunculus, snapdragons. I'm trying to think for her wedding.
I don't know what else you put in there.
That might be it.
You
As
got
far
seeds,
as far
right?
as like what's in the greenhouse in the ground. Now I have all the
Hmm.
seeds, but like that stuff is already like, started growing. So that's exciting.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. Well, that is it for episode, what is this? 10? Oh my
I
gosh,
think
this is
so.
10. Yay, double digits.
Yes.
That is it for episode 10 of Coming Into Bloom. We will see you guys back here next Monday.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Brent, for joining.